Hello everyone and Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024 with On the Move. I am Dr. Brandis Montgomery, a doctor of physical therapy with On the Move Massage and Physical Therapy. I'm the owner and the physical therapist for the practice, and I provide mobile physical therapy services in Metro Atlanta. And I apologize for doing this while holding my new baby girl, but she's not letting me accomplish anything recently. So I figured if I can hold her and she is chill, then maybe I can at least get a new episode up. So we'll make this brief, but I did want to discuss some things as I'm experiencing them myself that may help all of you out there. And it might not be because you were just pregnant, but maybe because you have your own issues with maybe back pain or hip pain, and or it could be other things that all revolve around our core. So today we're going to discuss our core. What is our core? How do we activate our core? How do we train it and strengthen it? And then I'll give you guys some real life examples. So our core is our trunk muscles. So it's not just our abdominal muscles, but it is all the muscles that help hold us up from our trunk. So it includes our abdominal muscles, but it also includes our back muscles, our buttock muscles, our hip muscles, several abdominal muscles. And we have a lot of deep core muscles as well, which go down into our pelvis and help control parts of urination and things like that. So keep in mind that when we're talking about our core, it's not just our stomach muscles, although we like to think that a lot, and we do need to train those muscles, but it does include a lot of other things as well. So how do we strengthen those muscles? There are lots of exercises that help us train our core muscles, from very basic abdominal contraction exercises all the way up to more like functional things where we're walking, standing, maybe more marching or doing things upright while we're activating those muscles, which are the more functional and more important exercises at the end of the day. But until we learn how to turn those muscles on with the very basic exercises, then we can't progress to the more functional ones, because we would then lose our activation of our core and then go back to putting that strain on our backs or our hips or whatever. So learning how to activate those muscles is the very first step in turning them on. So it's a few ways that we can start to figure out how to activate our muscles that seem to work for people. Include things like pretend like someone's going to punch you in the stomach and you just contract. Kind of everything contracts. It's not just our abdominal muscles, but like we just brace our entire core. Some people understand it that way. Other people learn from contract the muscles that you need to hold in your urine, or you're trying to prevent from going to the bathroom. So you're trying to like squeeze all those lower pelvic muscles, and that helps us activate all the surrounding muscles as well. You can also think of it as you're trying to brace out into like the shape of a can. So if we had a pop can and it's smushed and we're trying to blow the pop can back out to a cylinder shape, that is what our core can do. So if we think of our muscles as trying to be a pop can shape, that's what we're looking for. Sometimes that's helpful too. So once we learn how to do that, then let's start putting that into practice. There are lots of exercises. So some of my favorite ones to progress people to would be things like a dead bug, bridging, bird dogs, farmer's carries. You can do those in various ways, or anything where we're putting like a weight on one side and not on the other, or we're putting a lighter weight or a different type of resistance on one side than the other, makes our core have to work to hold us in the center. Another great one is anti-rotation, or sometimes it's called Palloff press, where we're trying to pull resistance or weight and maintain neutral with our core, our trunk. We're not letting it twist or move. We're trying to keep it in neutral. And of course, we can always go over all of those exercises if that's something that you need. Feel free to reach out and ask, how do I even do these exercises? And we can put together a program for you to help you see the technique and what it is that you need to do. to activate the correct muscles. So the next step, once we've strengthened those muscles and we've learned how to turn them on, is to use them in our day. So the easiest way to do that first is when we're stationary. We're either sitting, we're standing, we're not moving though. Once we start moving, we add a whole other layer of difficulty into activating those muscles, and it becomes much more challenging, which is why most of us don't do that. So a couple of ideas. If I am driving and I'm having some back pain, let's say, one thing that we can do in the car is as simple as sitting upright. So car seats tend to make us slouch or slump, and we tend to carry our heads forward and we don't rest them back on the headrest. And sometimes cars have lumbar support, some don't. So it makes our low backs kind of slump or slouch. So one thing that we can do in the car when we notice that is just sit up tall. So reach your head towards the ceiling. We're going to just sit our bodies up tall. And when we do that, you'll feel your core muscles activating. Your butt muscles will tighten up. Your belly muscles will tighten up. Your low back muscles will tighten up. Kind of everything is going to protect that spine, which is what it's supposed to do. Another easy way to kind of start adding this into your day is whenever you're standing to brush your teeth, or maybe you're doing the dishes or cooking a meal, anytime when we're just standing in place, and we can think about activating our core muscles, so think mostly belly muscles and butt muscles, to help us maintain that position. Because if we don't, our backs have to do all of that work to hold us in that slightly bent posture where we're bending forward just a little bit. Our spine has to do that instead of our muscles, which can, as you would know, really strain our backs and cause some pain with that. So those are two easy, great ways to start activating your core muscles throughout your day, and then progress to when you're walking. Maybe you go out for a walk every day, or maybe you're in the grocery store and you just start to think about, as I'm walking, I'm going to squeeze my belly, I'm going to squeeze my butt, I'm going to activate those core muscles to keep me upright and walking tall, and take that pressure off of my back and hips. So start to add it into your more functional tasks, or maybe while you're cleaning the house, when you're vacuuming, every time you push the vacuum out, you're going to squeeze your belly, squeeze your butt, and pull it back. Or mopping, same idea. So start to incorporate those ideas into your life. One great way that I really started to notice that I wasn't using my core muscles as much as I want to train them or use them or educate other people on how to do so, I was pregnant. Actually, with my son the first time, I realized how much pressure is put on our low backs because we have this weight out in front of us. So as our bellies get bigger, in order to counterbalance that big weight out in front of us, we tend to lean back or arch our low backs. And when we do that, we put all of that pressure on our low back. We cram those vertebrae together, we strain our ligaments back there, and we make our backs work really hard. So one thing that I would tell ladies when you're pregnant, especially when you've just found out you're pregnant, or maybe you're preparing to try to get pregnant, is to start being aware of those muscles as you're walking and standing. Maybe when you're carrying a box, which would simulate that same idea of having that weight out in front of you, you try to incorporate those abdominal and buttock muscles to help us. And then as you get pregnant, as your belly starts to grow, even when you're 9 months pregnant, you can still contract your core muscles, believe it or not. It is very challenging, but if you've done it all the way up until then, it gets a little bit easier to understand how to do that. One way, as we get more pregnant and bigger belly, to activate those muscles is to think of like you're pulling your stomach up and in like you're trying to put on a tight pair of jeans. Like I'm trying to zip that zipper and I can't get it quite around my belly. So you're like pulling up and in to try to get everything sucked in and fitting. That's one way to kind of activate those muscles as our bellies get bigger. But don't give up when you are progressing into those bigger stages of pregnancy, because we want to try to take the strain off our back as best we can. Because after we have our baby, we go from having that weight in our belly to now having that weight on the outside, and we just carry them here, and we still arch our backs to counterbalance that weight. So it doesn't go away, we just transfer where that's at from inside of us to outside of us. So you will need lots of practice so that once you have the baby, you can still, start to incorporate those muscles again and take the strain off of our backs. So hopefully that makes sense to all of you ladies out there. Guys, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter if you're pregnant or not, but anytime that we are upright and tall and incorporating those muscles and not just leaning back and relying on our backs to help us when we're picking up a weight of any kind, a box, of laundry, groceries, whatever it might be, we need to use those muscles to help us be in that position and not strain our back. So start to use those muscles, turn them on. If you've got questions, if you have no idea what I'm talking about and none of this is making sense, then like I said, we can put together a program to help you understand the techniques and learn the exercises to strengthen these muscles so that you can start to use them in your life as well. So all you need to do is reach out. You can comment below, or you can go to my website, which is onthemovempt.com, and you can schedule a free phone consultation so that we can talk about it and then see what's the best route for you. I hope everyone has a great start to their new year and they're learning lots, and reach out if there are other things that you need me to talk about this year. I would love to do it. Have a great one.